everybody, I'm Roland from Roland and Riches, and there's great improv everywhere. Today's team is the Marienettes, and they're out of Oslo, Norway. That's Harald, Marie, and Terje. We're gonna take a look at some of their scenes, but if you wanna go straight to the recap and skip all of the creamy goodness, you can find that timecode link in the description down below. All right, there's some amazing stuff happening in the beginning of this show that I wanna point out. As you watch this clip, look out for two things. One, watch how they're both comfortable in the silence. And two, watch how Harald on your left looks like twice he's about to talk, but doesn't. Okay, so I don't know about you, but that first scene of any show is always the one that worries me when I'm about to get on stage. I mean, personally, I feel like if I can get that first scene to go well, like if we can give the audience something to get engaged in, then the rest is going to be smooth sailing. And I love the way Harald and Terje start that scene. They both just let the silence lay there. They're not rushing to label what they're doing or to even start talking. Notice though that they do check in with each other and interact with each other a little bit. They don't ignore their partner. So they're checking in with each other and seeing what their partner is doing, maybe even checking what attitude they're doing it with. And twice, Harald looks like he's about to say something but doesn't. And if you notice, there was a chuckle both of those times. Watch that first time again. Yeah, I love that. To me, that's a subtle but great example of following the funny. It really looks like Harald was about to say something, but because there was a couple of chuckles, instead of talking, he just continued what he had been doing, meaning the silence, continuing to do what got that laugh, i.e. following the funny. Okay, let's fast forward a bit. As you watch this clip, pay attention to Marie's great walk-on and how Terje on the right uses that information that she gave us to help the scene.
What's she doing there? Scarf?
Boysy boys, Mommy brought some cookies for you.
Thank you, Mommy. Yeah, it's a scarf for Mommy.
There is so much here to unpack. Okay, first, Harald labels what Terje is knitting, a scarf. I mean, that makes sense. If I'm sitting with you and we're knitting, chances are I'm gonna have an idea what you're knitting. I mean, I might be wrong, but I'd have an idea. I wouldn't be sitting there knitting with you and going, well, I have no idea what the hell that is. So Harald labels it for his partner. So great. And then Marie walks in. Watch again how she labels who they are and their relationship and then leaves the stage. And also while you're at it, pay attention to how Harald and Terje react.
Boysy boys, Mommy brought some cookies for you.
Thank you, Mommy.
So that is a great walk-on. She came in, gave a whole backdrop for what this scene is. I mean, this scene could have been two strangers on a bus stop, but with that walk-on, she created a relationship on stage that hadn't been there before. Amazing. And then she left. She didn't stay and pull focus from these two characters that we've seen so far. I mean, we had just started to see these two characters react with words, and her pulling focus would have taken away from that. She gave him a great gift, then walked off stage to let him play with the gift. And I want to also point out how they both spoke the same way when they said, "Thank you, Mommy." Mimicking your partner doesn't have to be limited to a short-form game or a fourth wall breaking gimmick. In this case, it helps cement the idea that these two are brothers and gave us an idea what kind of brothers and children they might be. It's also really fun to see improvisers get on the same page with their partner, and in this case, doing it just by mimicking those three words. And then Terje gives us that great line.
Yeah, it's a scarf for Mommy.
This is fantastic. I mean, so many times I'll see beginning players be given a gift like Marie did here, but instead of using that information they've been given, they just let it hit them like Teflon, like it hits them and then just slides right off. Marie told us that she was their mom and they were brothers, and Terje does a fantastic yes and now says that his scarf is for Mommy. Yes, she's their mom, and his scarf that he's knitting is for her. He didn't ignore that new information and go back and say something like, "Yup, and my scarf is going to be 6 meters long," which wouldn't include the new information from their mom. What a great organic way to involve Marie's character and to yes and what she says by using the information she gave as part of his next line. So good. Okay, watch this next scene and pay attention to how Terje keeps getting laughs, so he keeps giving more.
I sent you a list on your email.
Forgot my password.
Well, I know you would that, so also put it under your pillow. Yes, I did like embroidery. I embroidered my for Christmas, and I framed it with a gold frame and put it under your pillow. And then I drew you a map and I put it on the fridge that says X marks the spot. I even left a clue in the milk carton because I know you always like to drink from the carton. You don't like glasses.
No.
So I put a small bottle, like a message in a bottle inside of the carton of milk.
So there's a bottle in the carton. A message in the bottle in the
Yes.
carton.
Yeah, this is such a fun moment on stage. His character starts out with a real-world, not absurd statement. I sent you a list on your email. And when Harald says that he forgot his password, Terje starts telling us what other lengths he went to get his Christmas list to Harald. And in doing so, gets more and more absurd. And it works because the audience is enjoying it and laughing. It also works because it started out real-world and had somewhere to go, somewhere absurd to go, rather than start absurd with no easy way of heightening. This is a great example of, again, following the funny. Now, I don't know how Terje felt, but I've been on stage where I've taken a comedic bit farther than I had expected to because the audience was reacting positively. Whether it's doing an unexpected monologue or playing multiple characters myself at the same time, or like in this case, giving ever increasingly absurd information. In those scenes, about halfway through, I would often feel that there's no way I could keep this up, or worse, that I'm going to lose the audience if I try to keep it up. And I have found more often than not that if the audience is enjoying it and I keep doing it past that point of internal discomfort, that there's gold on the other side, that I'm going to end up somewhere that even I couldn't have expected. And when that happens, both the players and audience are having fun, just like when Terje and Harald realized there was a message in a bottle in a carton. Okay, let's watch a short 20-second clip and pay attention to how Marie mentions a bunch of details, but then ultimately makes it about the relationship.
You did the clock last week and it's working. You did it a whole wall.
It doesn't even show numbers, it shows integrations.
It's insane. I don't know how to deal with this. You're a very clever boy, but I don't think I can keep you anymore.
This is such great improv. Terje's character is doing actions like knitting a bunch of stuff, but instead of making the result of all that something we don't care about, like saying, there's no more room in here for all these knitted things, or saying stuff like, we're spending all our money on yarn, Marie makes it about the relationship. You're a clever boy, but I don't think I can keep you. She's even attached emotion behind it.
I don't think I can keep you anymore.
His actions have affected her, and the result is emotion and a change in the status of their relationship. And you throw on the facts that in the context of an improv show, it's funny that a mom is telling her 12-year-old son that she can't keep him. Well, now you've got emotion, relationship, and funny. Bam, you've got this great improv moment that makes the audience laugh. Okay, this next scene we're going to look at is an entirely silent scene. Now, the scene actually lasts over 3 minutes long, so I'm not going to show you the whole thing. But I am including the link to their show in the description box below, and I really recommend watching this scene in its entirety. But for now, let's focus on a few parts. First, the beginning. I'm going to show you the first 15 seconds. Watch how when Marie joins in, she takes on the same action and how relaxed and comfortable the two of them are in the silence. Now, this sucking on the straw thing goes on and lasts a full 18 seconds. Again, being okay with the silence and not feeling the need to fill it with talk, that's awesome. But then, something completely unexpected happens, and it doesn't come from the stage. Yeah, the tech person, whoever they are, was brilliant and started playing Marvin Gaye's song, Let's Get It On. Now, I gotta be honest, when I saw this, I wondered if they knew something was coming, like maybe it was a part of their format. So I checked with the Marienettes, and no, they had no clue. Now, they've given their tech volunteers permission to throw sounds of music, which is amazing, but having music play is not part of their show's format, so this was completely unexpected. And wow, did they use it. I mean, look again how they make eye contact now that the sexy music is playing. That's amazing, using the music to drive your actions and emotions. And they continue to be silent, but they start taking action. Terje drags his chair and his table in small increments all the way to Marie. Stopping halfway to once again suck on the straw while Marie is reacting the whole time. And when he finally gets close enough, the audience gets rewarded with Marie now taking a long drag at that straw just like Terje had. Doing what Terje had been doing, which is playing what your partner has been playing. And such a great surprise for the audience. Finally, let's see how this scene ends. So great. First, the tech person isn't letting up. They actually up the volume of the song. Terje and Marie continue passing the drink, and clearly they're headed to some sort of resolution to the story, which ends with them drinking small amounts faster and faster. This is great, super fun. But I also want to acknowledge Harald here, who did something fantastic in this scene. He edited. I mean, the first time I watched this, I thought they're probably going to kiss, and maybe you thought that also. Now, there are lots of players who are comfortable kissing other players on stage, but that's not a prerequisite for doing improv. If Terje and Marie had wanted to, sure, they could have kissed. Nothing wrong with doing that, as long as the players involved are okay with it, and that's probably a conversation you may want to have way before this actually happens on stage. But the drinking through the straw went on long enough that I started to think, well, maybe the players don't want to, or maybe the characters don't want to. And rather than let them flounder or put them in a position where they felt they had to, Harald did a fantastic thing and ended the scene. This let it end on a fun, high note without putting the players in a scenario that maybe they didn't want to be in. Okay, time for the recap. Don't be afraid of the silence. Sorry, forgot what I was saying. Right, play with silence. You can use silence to your advantage. Parts of scenes, full shows, they can all be done in silence. But it means relying on body language, your own, what you're giving off, and super paying attention to what your partner is giving off. What's their attitude? What emotion are they displaying? And what actions do you take as a response of those emotions? Follow the funny. I mean, you may be ready or planning to do something on stage, but if the audience has an unexpected positive reaction to something you're doing on stage, why not do it more? I mean, if they like something, ask yourself, what did I just do that got that laugh? How can we do it again, and how can we heighten it? Jump on your partner's bandwagon. I know sometimes we want to shine on stage and take that spotlight for a moment, and I totally get that. I've done that too many times. Sorry, Rich. But a strong move is to join your partner with what they're doing. We saw Harald and Terje say, "Thanks, Mommy," together, and we saw Marie join Terje in drinking the straw for a ridiculously large amount of time. It's the yes part of yes and it tells your partner, hey, I'm paying attention to you and the moves that you make on stage, and it's fun for you and fun for the audience. If you do a walk-on, don't take focus. And that doesn't mean that you can't come on as a third person into a scene and stay there, but if you're going in to just specifically provide some information in a scene, find a reason for your character to leave. Or just leave. Character doesn't need a reason. Especially as we saw in the knitting scene, if the players already on stage haven't yet found what their scene is about, just don't pull focus. Use the info your partner gave you. I know it's such a small moment, but Terje saying, "I'm knitting a scarf for Mommy," to me is such great improv. Look, every time I say something on stage, it's because I'm hoping that you react to what I say. So if I'm doing that, my partner's probably doing the opposite. Whoa, stop. Hi, sorry, this will take a quick second. You said the wrong thing. You said that if you're saying something, it's because you want your partner to use that information, and your partner is probably doing the opposite. You meant to say your partner is probably doing the exact same thing. They're probably saying things so that way you use that information. Okay? We good? All right, sorry. Continue. So when Marie drops the information that they're brothers and she's the mom, pick up that information and use it to inform your next action or response, just like Terje did about the scarf. When you start to feel a little discomfort, you're probably on your way to gold. Now, let me be perfectly clear. I am not talking about when you as a person start to feel uncomfortable because of something someone is saying or doing on stage. That is totally different. No one does improv to feel uncomfortable on stage. We do, however, sometimes do improv to grow and expand ourselves. And sometimes that means feeling a little uncomfortable as we take one step past our comfort zone and get a little out of our shell. It's one of the reasons I fell in love with it. If you're doing something in a scene and you start to feel that type of discomfort, the can I keep this up and keep it entertaining for the audience? And you start to worry because you're not used to feeling that vulnerable on stage and it's taking you out of your shell just a little bit, well, consider continuing what you're doing. Like when we saw Terje explain the Rube Goldberg type way he had given Harald his Christmas list. I mean, I can easily imagine doing that scene and going, oh boy, am I taking this too far? Is it still fun? And as we saw, yeah, it was great. There's gold on the other side of that. Rube Goldberg, that's my reference of the day. Make it about the relationship. It was so great when Marie said, I don't think I can keep you, to the child who's always knitting a bunch of things. He was doing something and her response was that it affected their relationship. You can't go wrong with that because relationships are something that everyone can relate to. Be a good teammate and edit. I mean, you want to get your partners out of any situations that they might not want to be in on stage, or if there's a scene that's just going on way too long and it's not going anywhere. If you've ever played that game Hotspot where someone sings in the middle and everybody's on the outside tagging them out, your job isn't to sing like a rock star in the middle. Your job is to not leave your teammate in there too long. You want them to look good, and that sometimes means editing the scene. And that's our recap. So what did you think of the lessons that we pulled from the Marienettes show? Did they make sense? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you've been watching this video series and you want to keep seeing more, please click on that subscribe button. I want to thank the Marienettes again. That's Harald, Marie, and Terje, and whoever was brilliant handling tech that show. You can find all their contact info below as well as the link to the full show, and I highly recommend checking it out. And as always, if you're on a team and have a show you'd like to showcase, email me or leave a comment. There's great improv everywhere, and I'd love to show the world how great your improv is. Bye.